Hi everyone, Donut here. I've got a little liar pants on fire for you fine people. I think we've done a few videos on Miss Rebecca Kavana here. She's a defense attorney out of New York. She posted this earlier today and it's already got 8 million views. This is a big ol' video right here. This content needs a strong trigger warning for police violence. This young man was stopped by a plainclothes police officer this evening in Canarsie, Brooklyn, apparently for being in a park shortly after the 9 p.m. closing time. That part's not really apparent to me. Rebecca has this crazy ability to see what happened on scene before the camera actually started filming. She's done it several times. It's really nutty. She should go to the circus and be a fortune teller or something. We're not going to watch the video quite yet. Let's read some of the comments. She follows it up with content warning, police violence, part 2. Regardless of the reason to stop, because I am sure NYPD will come up with a reason like a report of a gun, there is no possible justification for this horrific use of violence. This young man is clearly terrified because he's being held at gunpoint by a cop. Remember that part. Who doesn't even identify as a cop, like anyone would it be, but he is fully cooperative. He doesn't do anything that would have needed more than one cop to calmly arrest him. For being a defense attorney, she really knows jack shit about policing. So many young people I represent describe being arrested like this. Criminals. Blah, 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 blah. And then this idiot, this big dummy comes in. Every single one of these cops should be first fired, then prosecuted. Is there a list being maintained anywhere of cops that engage in these types of violations? There should be a national list. Y'all need 15 cops to arrest a kid, all tough with your badges. Oh, this is America. Classic. This is why only Bernie Sanders will get my support. I couldn't watch it. I retweeted it, but I couldn't bear to watch not knowing what was going to happen in advance. It breaks my heart every time. The NYPD is the biggest and most lawless gang in America. Anyways, let's watch the video to see all the police violence that takes place here. Be careful though. Trigger warning. I'm going to stay down here for fair use purposes in the corner, so please don't mind me.
I didn't commit any crime, so can you get off me? What crime did I commit? Tell me. Stop moving. Can you?
I'm recording, I'm watching.
Tell me. All right, you're holding me by I guess my witness and what you're doing.
Yo, bro, stay still.
Yo, what crime did I commit? All right, look, you see?
Oh, bro.
What crime did I commit? Look, you gotta hurt me? You gotta hurt me? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I did not do anything. He saw me in the park and he said he came out the car and followed me. Why are you following me? Can you answer my question? Look me in my eyes. I'm talking to you. Stop moving. Why are you planning to record at your back? I'm happy to do me. I just came to work. What's the problem? Look in my eyes. I'm talking to you. Stop moving. Stop moving. What crime did I commit? Tell me what crime did I commit?
Ask if you being detained, bro.
I did not commit a crime.
Ask if you being
He
detained.
just said, come over. He followed me and said, come over here real quick. I'm like, what? Who are you? What crime did I commit? Stop moving. You about to shoot me? Stop moving. Taser? I don't have a crime. I don't have a weapon on me. What crime did I commit? You're supposed to do that. That's the law. That's the law. You see, you keep your dog. What I'm saying. What I'm saying, sir. I know. Yo, I did not commit a crime. I did not commit a crime. I did not commit a crime. I did not commit any crime.
So it was obvious right there he was waiting for backup. That's why he wasn't trying to put him in handcuffs. The guy was actively resisting. That's actively resisting right there. I don't know if you noticed, but the officers who were coming to help were running code, meaning they had their lights on and they were coming fast to help a fellow officer. Something must have happened before the cameras started rolling. Or did the plainclothes officer run up to the guy, push him against the wall for no reason, just because he's being black walking down the street, and racism? He's already actively resisting, and then it gets a little bit more heated. All the other officers show up and they try to put him in handcuffs.
I did not commit any crimes. I did not commit any crimes. I did not commit any crimes.
Okay, the guy goes down to his butt, and you can see his hands doing this, trying to do anything he can to not be put in handcuffs. Surely, they're doing this for no reason, though. You can also clearly see his legs flailing around and kicking. Back it up a little bit.
Bro, he wasn't even resisting any shit.
All right, this officer right here, it looks like he struck one time and then he kneed one time. I went back and watched this video in slow motion like 5 or 6 times, and this is the only time I see strikes being thrown. There's a part here in a second where it looks like an officer might have stomped on his leg, but it may just be him trying to hold his leg down because he's flailing around so much. I don't know. If either of the officers violated departmental policy or the law, then hopefully they're punished for it.
Just so you see what run guys are. Another dam. Oh my God, look at this one. Why would they do that? I never want to do that. I never want to stop it again.
This is the second questionable use of force I was talking about right here. Watch the officer who falls on the ground. There's video too. Let's watch the rest of the arrest.
Just so you see what run guys are. Another dam. Oh my God, look at this one. Why would they do that? I never want to do that. I never want to stop it again. You said my guys stop it. Help me! Oh my God! Jesus Christ! I am not resisting! I am not resisting!
He keeps screaming he's not resisting, but that was active resistance from the get-go.
I never been arrested a day in my life.
Yo, what's your...
Oh my God!
Yo, give him a chance to roll the fuck over, yo.
Oh my God! Nobody knows how to nice person. Look, he's on the road. What is he doing?
My mom.
Oh my God!
Mom, please. Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus.
Why are you gonna do that?
You can say, but we just gotta make sure it's good.
Why you gotta stamp him like that? You know,
I wasn't there.
Oh, you just...
You want to see a simple trick to avoid all of this? Sir, put your hands behind your back. Holy shit. So what really happened? Let's look that up. Police Commissioner Dermot Shea said the incident would be investigated, but noted there were disturbing elements of the video. I'm going to look for an investigation, Shea said, explaining that cops were called to a nearby park on a shot spotter alert that gunfire had been detected. When cops arrived on scene, Gayle, who was just watching the video, and an 18-year-old man who were allegedly seen smoking marijuana ran off in different directions. One officer caught up with Gayle before the video started. When cops arrived on scene, Gayle, who's the person we just saw in the video, and an 18-year-old man who were allegedly seen smoking marijuana ran off in different directions. The other male was also apprehended and issued a summons. Gayle had cuts to his knee but no bruises on his face from the arrest. Responding officers may have not known that Gayle was unarmed when he was stopped. They arrived on scene and saw two people taking off running. I've been in that position myself, and you don't know what you have. They got a call for shots fired at the park. They showed up and they see two people taking off running. Oh yeah, dude, there was absolutely no reason for them to chase them and stop them. I want to point out too that the other guy, the 18-year-old they were talking about, they gave him a ticket and let him go. As far as the weed goes, I don't care about that. Most police officers these days really don't care about that. Hell, for all we know, if the cops showed up and saw him smoking weed, they might have just said, hey, don't do that. Go home. I think it should be legalized everywhere, but if it's illegal and you're doing it and you get in trouble, it's your fault. Okay, despite the marijuana, cops got a call for shots fired, showed up, saw two dudes running, and they stopped them. Both dudes who took off running, there were completely different outcomes. There was one who resisted detention, had to be taken to the ground, had to be put in handcuffs and arrested. Then there was one who probably didn't do that, and they gave him a ticket, and he left and went on his merry way. I know a lot of people in the comments were asking also, why do you need 10 cops to subdue one guy? Have you ever tried to get someone in handcuffs who just absolutely does not want to go into handcuffs? It's a little bit harder than you think, and it takes more than one, sometimes two people to do it. But that's just my opinion. According to Twitter, I'm just a big racist for commenting on this. As always, have a fantastic day.
Straight whacker.